Yay. Well, thank you everyone for being here. And I love all the feedback. So we're going to dive into some knee work, some wrists, shoulders, arms, based on the request today. So let's start with our strap or a belt or a scarf or anything that just gives you that extra length. And we're gonna come down to the ground. So just a comfortable place on the ground. Good. Awesome. Yay. Thanks so much for being here, guys. Good to see everyone. Okay, perfect. So when we're working with knees, we also want to work with our feet because that's going to translate to our ankles, our knees, our hips, up to our shoulders, up to our neck. And so go ahead and find the ball of the big toe, the mound of the big toe, and you're going to want to press through there. And then there's also the inner heel. So where the arch meets the inner heel, there's a point, and then there's a point on the outer edge of the foot. And when you activate all three of them, you get a triangle. And we know that a triangle is the strongest shape. So even if it takes a little bit of using your imagination at first to find and activate those points. So go ahead, just working with your feet on the floor. Nothing special, just see if you can find those points. So pressing through the mounds of the big toes, pressing through that inner heel, just reaching through it, pressing to that outside edge of the foot, the center outside edge. And looking to find that, does anybody notice how your feet are already strengthening, toning? Maybe your toes are starting to spread wide. See if you can get those toes spreading. And then it starts to tone into those ankles. It starts to tone into those knees. Good. So actively spread all those 10 toes wide as much as you can and actively press through the mound of the big toe. And I can already feel that burning, that toning that's starting to happen in those ankles. It's a really great strengthener. And sometimes, we just got to play add-on and start with one of the points. So maybe that first point is pressing through those mounds of the big toes. And then that second point is spreading those toes wide. Okay, anybody getting a burning yet? Yeah, so it is a real active training. Open this up more. Okay, great. Okay, so we're gonna find that same action, pressing through the mound, spreading the toes wide, and we're gonna grab our strap, coming to the ground, and we're just gonna lay flat on our back. Like such. You're gonna go ahead and put that strap right around the mounds of the big toes. So both legs, both feet, right on that center mound. And then we're going to take the legs straight up. And the legs don't have to be 100% straight. Just go at your own capacity. Good, 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 good. And we're starting with both legs up right now. Yep. Okay. And then our shoulders are on the ground, our head's on the ground. And I like to wrap that strap around my wrists. And then I like to get an external rotation of the arms. So thumbs pointing outwards, arms rotating away from each other. So we're getting this external rotation. And that's going to start to open up our shoulders, open up our chest. Okay, and then I want to tune into our foundation. So right now, since we're laying on the ground, our foundation is our back, our shoulders, our pelvis. And most of us have 20 to 60% more weight on one side of our sacrum or our pelvis than the other. So go ahead and gently draw your feet slightly over to the right. And then gently draw your feet slightly over to the left. And do that a few times until you start to find your center. I noticed that I put a lot more weight on my right side of my pelvis, the right side of my sacrum. And it might be very subtle or it might be dramatic. So because I have more weight on the right side of my sacrum, I'm going to draw my feet over to the left, which is going to put more weight on the left side of my pelvis. So I'm going to work asymmetrically to find symmetry. So see if you can find that for yourself. Play around, bring your feet over to the right. How does that feel? Does that feel normal? Bring your feet over to the left. Does that feel different? And just go ahead and put more weight on the side that you put less weight on. And if you're feeling pretty balanced, just go to your center. Okay, good. So we are pressing through those mounds of the big toes still. And, I've used like a sweatshirt before when I didn't have a strap. Like you can play around, get creative, anything that will give you that length. Okay, and then our belly button is dropping to the floor, to our spine. And we talked about our arms getting an external rotation. You can now also get an internal rotation of those thighs. And lift that heart up to your chest, up to your chin. So imagine from the inside of your chest, your heart is lifting, reaching through your sternum. It's a very active lift, reaching towards your chin. And again, it's okay if there's a micro bend in the legs. Okay, great. Good work. Okay, so we're untangling the hamstrings. So again, opening wide across the backs of the legs, which is going to help with that internal rotation of the thighs. And then go ahead and bend your left knee and take that leg straight down to the floor. It's going to be flat. Good. Right leg is up, left leg is down. Okay, so we're going to press through the mound of the big toes again. And we're getting an internal rotation of the thighs, which is also going to support your organs. You might feel that toning in your outer edges of your hips.
Rita, can I ask you a question? Can I ask you a favor?
Yeah,
Uh,
please.
is it at all possible for you to turn to us because I can't, when you're saying what to do, I can't really see what's happening. So
Okay.
I'm not sure what I'm supposed to be doing.
Yeah. Is this better?
Yeah.
Okay, great.
Rita Rose, you are not alone.
Thanks for speaking up. Thanks for speaking up. Okay, great. All right, so this is better. You guys can see.
Because when you say turn, when you're saying to turn the thigh, I'm not sure exactly how I'm supposed to be doing it.
That makes sense. Okay, let's go over that together. So I'm gonna use my hands to help me get an internal rotation. So I mean the outside of the hip is rolling towards that inside of the groin. So just use your hands and it's called entwining, so rolling the outside of the thigh towards the inside of the thigh. And that's what we mean by getting that internal rotation. And that's happening on both legs. Does that make more sense for everyone?
Yes.
Okay, great. And what that does is it resets the pelvis, it resets the organs, it starts to get the fibers of the muscles working in connection, coordination with the bone. Okay. The heart is lifting. And then our left leg is on the ground, it's straight. And I want you to imagine that you have a 50-pound or a 200-pound weight on that thigh, and you can feel that there's, for probably all of us, space underneath that left thigh, right? So our end goal, our impossible goal, is to get that left back of the thigh, that hamstring, touching the ground. There's no space under it.
Okay.
And so to do that, we just keep our left heel on the ground. We don't want to hyperextend, and you can't hyperextend when that heel is touching the ground. And you're gonna actively draw, engage the top of your left thigh towards the ground. And it's a strong action. So that left leg will feel like it's getting longer, and it is. We're making space in that left knee joint. So with all of your strength, draw the top of the left thigh to the ground. And we're still getting that entwining action. And our belly button is going towards the ground. Let's see how active and engaged you can be in that left leg. So kneecaps engaged, the kneecap is lifting up towards the left hip. That thigh is drawing straight down to the ground. Okay, and then we're gonna exhale, bend that right leg, draw the feet together, and you'll notice, go ahead and look down. See if your right leg is longer than your left, because we just worked on opening up the lower back.
Yeah, it is.
Okay, so now we gotta do the other side. So draw your left leg up. Again, put that strap right around the mound of the big toe. You can wrap the strap around your hands and wrists if it's easier. Drawing that left leg straight up. And let's start with those foundations again. So we're getting that internal rotation of our thighs. And try and spread all 10 toes wide. So that's going to work into our ankles and our knees and our hips. And this is one of my favorite ones as well for the low back. Really releasing, opening up. And see if you can press to those mounds of the big toes. And then we're going to draw now that right thigh straight down to the ground. So keeping your heel on the ground. And imagining that you could break through the floor, bust through the floor with that right thigh. And again, it's just in the action of trying, because right, I still have space under there, but I'm working hard to close that gap, to close that space. And then take a nice deep inhalation through your chest. And see if you can fill up your chest in new areas like a barrel. And then with that internal rotation of the thighs, it's gonna open up the back of your thigh, open up that hamstring. Okay, exhale, bring that leg down. And now that leg will probably be longer or it'll be matching the other one. Good. Okay, we're gonna bring that right leg up again. So inhale right on that mound of the big toe, leg reaching up to the sky. And this time we're gonna put the strap in both straps in our right hand. And you might wanna watch on this one. I'm getting a 90-degree angle of my elbow. And so this right leg is not going down to the floor. An alternative is you can put that leg on a chair, on a prop, on a bolster, but you're bringing that right leg out to the side. And it's just holding up through my elbow.
Other way. Okay. That way. All right.
Any questions? Good. And the goal is not to get that leg to the ground. The goal is actually to draw that leg upwards towards the right ear. Great. And that left leg as straight if possible. Okay, great. Okay, so this one is different. We're getting an external rotation of that right leg. So your toes are pointing towards the ground, heel pointing towards the ceiling. And then exhale, take that leg up. And this time we're gonna cross that right leg over to the left side. So again, just go at your own pace of what feels comfortable, but I'm rolling onto that left hip, left toes, pinky toes touching the ground. And so I'm just drawing that leg, yeah, good, leg over to the opposite side. And again, your shoulders are flat on the ground, your head, your neck, your head is flat on the ground. So you're getting this deep twist into the spine.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it is a challenging one, but it's really good at getting those rib cage to get into the spine. If you can, that right shoulder is reaching towards the ground. Right arm is out straight out beside you, wrist, shoulder aligned. And then exhale, bring that leg up. Okay, and draw that leg down. Good, good, good. Okay. Next side, so you feel how that's going throughout the whole body, all the way up into the neck, shoulders, the hips. And then grab that left leg, right on that mound with the big toe, reaching that left leg up. This time we're gonna hold the strap, both straps on the left arm. And I just have, it's hard to see, but my elbow is at just a 90-degree angle. And it's propping up. Yeah, good teamwork over there, guys. It can be helpful to have a buddy. And again, you can use a chair. You're welcome to put this left leg up on a chair, up on a prop. And the idea again is we don't want that leg going to the ground. We want it going upwards towards the left ear.
Hopefully you're feeling the thigh, the hip, everything waking up in a new way.
Mhm.
And then exhale, you can bend that leg to come up. And we're gonna switch the straps over to the right hand, again, using that elbow at a 90-degree angle. Again, you can prop that ankle up on a chair, on a couch, on a pillow. And we're all gonna feel this one in slightly different places based on where we need it, whether that's your hip or your spine. And that belly is getting a real nice twist, so your belly button is twisting over towards the left. So good for our internal organs, our digestive system, our liver, our kidneys. Okay, and then we're gonna exhale, come back up. And draw that leg down. Okay, good. So this next one, you can stay lying down.
It's the 7-pointed pose. It's one of my favorites. And this for a while was the only pose I could do. So we're working with those mounds of the big toes again, and we are just laying flat, and you're gonna take your wrists right out to your sides. If you have room, maybe you can stagger yourselves a little bit so you have room, because you'll want to feel this feedback. But the wrists are going just straight out to the sides, aligned with your shoulders. And the feet are just together, mounds of the big toes pressing. And we're lying down flat. And the goal here is we're using the floor as our feedback. Okay, so go ahead and get equal pressure in your two wrists. See if you can spread all 10 fingers wide and see if you can get your pinky finger, your ring finger, your thumb, all of the nails touching the ground. So palms are up, palms are up towards the sky.
Yes.
Yep. Okay, so just in focusing on those 2 points, those two wrists, we're gonna start working through those shoulders. And again, we're getting an external rotation of the arm. So rolling from the bottom of the arm towards the top of the arm. Okay, good. And now really spread through those 10 fingers and draw your two collarbones wide towards your fingertips. So again, we're just working on shoulders, wrists right now, but we're getting that external rotation of our arms. Our wrists, our fingers are pressing evenly. And just go ahead and peek, make sure that your wrists are in alignment with your shoulders. Good, good, good. Okay, now we want to work on our two scapulas, our two shoulder blades. So is there equal pressure in your shoulder blades? And you might have to play around with it because what we think is balanced, we're just used to. So see if you can put a little bit more or get a little bit of lift in that right shoulder, which is going to put more pressure in the left shoulder. And then get a little bit of lift in that left shoulder, which is going to put more pressure in the right shoulder. For me, I had broken that right scapula, so I put more weight there. So I'm going to lift that right shoulder away from the ground And that's gonna create that balance for me. Good, so equal pressure in the scapulas is all we're looking for. And whatever side you're more heavy on, more weighted on, lift that side up towards the ceiling. And if you're not sure, just get a lift in both scapulas. Okay, now we're gonna move down to the pelvis, to the sacrum. Try and get equal pressure on the right side of your sacrum and the left side of your sacrum. And now we're gonna move down to our heels. So go ahead and get those 2 feet touching each other, mounds of the big toes touching each other. Yep, big toes touching each other. Imagine that those feet are flat, like you're walking on the floor. Or in this case, it'd be walking on the wall.
Call from CS Dartmouth A.
So press through those mounds of the big toes. Imagine that those feet are flat. And just get equal pressure in your 2 heels. So you're pressing down with those 2 heels. Okay, now let's see if we can find all those points at once. So equal pressure in your 2 heels. Equal pressure in the backs of your calves. Equal pressure in your 2 glutes or your sacrum. Equal pressure in your 2 shoulder blades. And in your wrists. And then even in the back of the head. And this seems like such a simple pose, right? But the 7-pointed pose can work through so many imbalances in the body, so many injuries of any kind. But we're just working on realigning. And when the body gets aligned and everything starts to get into place, that's when all the circulation goes to the different tissues. And when we get that blood flow and that circulation, that's really how the body repairs itself. Because it's getting that nourishment to every area. And so as simple as this seems, it's really, really profound. This is actually the pose I use to recover from my injuries. And see if you can let go of any grip in the groins. And see if you can spread those arms wider away from each other. Fingers widening, extending. Again, those feet are flat like you're walking on the wall. See if you can spread all 10 toes wide. Press through the mounds of the big toes. And in these last few seconds, see if you can get a little bit taller. So extend through the inside edge of your heel, extend through your feet, and extend out the top of the head. And take a nice deep breath, lifting the heart. And if you're really actively spreading all 10 fingers wide and actively working on getting those wrists, the pressure even, you'll notice some really good toning in through your arms and your shoulders. So you can actually get incredibly toned working in this pose in this way. A few more breaths. We're just looking for that full human potential in the simplest actions, and spreading those 10 fingers and spreading those 10 toes. Good, and then we're gonna go ahead and roll over to the right side. And press downward to come upward. Yeah. Okay. Did you guys get some good feedback on that one? Yeah, that's awesome. I love, good. I love that one because you're just tuning into your body and the floor is your feedback. And so it can be a very, very subtle adjustment, but sometimes we have, a little bit more pressure on one wrist than the other. So just getting that even, getting the feet even, getting the shoulders even. It's an amazing adjustment from head to toe. Okay, good work. So wrists, let's work on those wrists. Some of you have done this one before, but we're just simply, it's actually not simple. It's simple, but it's hard. We're working on getting these elbows together, and then you see how much space is between my wrists. Light would be shining through there. I'm trying to get my wrists so there's no space between them, no light can shine through. And now, oh my goodness, there's light shining through my hands when I get my wrists. So now I'm trying to get my hands, and oh, now my wrists open back up. So this one I was sharing in another class. This is what my mom really used and worked on because she was struggling with some arthritis in her wrists and her hands. And so she worked every single day just to close the gaps. And it takes practice. We're not going to get it on our first tries. It takes multiple endeavors. But once she was able to close that gap in her wrists and her hands, that pain went away. So go ahead, you can bring those elbows and extend them just straight out in front of you. And it's kind of hard, right? Is anybody feeling this in your shoulders and your neck already? Yeah. Good. So just work with yourself, in a compassionate way with yourself, trying to close the gaps so that there's no light shining through in the wrists and the elbows and the hands. And of course, it is impossible for most of us. But it's in the action of trying that we're getting what we need. Yeah. I know. I see that we're getting some burnout in those shoulders. It is really hard. So imagine practicing this for 30 seconds, 2 minutes a day. And what we're really doing is we're working through those wrists, we're working through those shoulders, we're working through the neck. So any neck injuries, this helps to balance those muscles. I know it's hard. Yeah, good work. Oh yeah. So we're also realigning the shoulders. Okay. So this one's gonna require some practice, huh? Good work, good work. Okay, so put it on your phone, put it on your calendar, a minute a day, 1 minute a day. And you'll see a huge transformation in those elbows, those wrists, the shoulder, the neck. Okay. Ooh, all right. Let's come on out of that one. Next one. Good work, good work. It's humbling, isn't it? Humbling. Okay. So we're just sitting any way that's comfortable for you. For me, I'm just in simple cross-legged. Any way that's comfortable for you. Okay. And then if you need extra support,
I do want the spine to be tall and long. So if we are rounded, get a prop, boost yourself up, sit on something, and that will get your spine tall and long. Okay. So shoulders are aligned. We got that wrists, elbows, and shoulders in alignment. Just peek to your left and right. Because sometimes we're like this, sometimes we're like this. Okay, good. And then reach through all 10 fingers. Okay, beautiful work. And then this area here, the skin, this muscle, we're activating it, we're squeezing it, we're sucking it to the bone. So just look for that activation in your upper arms. And you can find it with more extension through those fingertips. So the more you reach through those fingertips, ooh, I know this is burning too. The more you reach through those fingertips, it's going to engage muscle to the bone, which is what we want. Smooth breathing. My collarbones are spreading wide towards my fingertips. Good work. Now I'm going to just rotate those palms facing up. Okay, so that starts to work into our shoulders. It's kind of like that, like uncle, like I've had enough. Right? We'll just see if you can keep breathing through that tension, the tiredness, the fatigue. And this is more, yeah, we're definitely working on the shoulders, the wrists, the arms, but this is very much a test of our mental endurance, and that's what we're really building right now. So we're coming to our edge, and we're going just slightly beyond that edge. And you'll feel that the neck, the shoulders are starting to really warm up, burning. Yeah, that's good. That's what we want. And then we're getting like those thumbs are hitchhiking back behind you. So that's going to help you get that external rotation. All right. Anyone screaming yet? Anyone ready to just come out? Yes. Yeah. So that's where we want to go. And we're just like, please get me out of this pose. I cannot take it for one more second. And that's when you take a nice deep breath, extend those arms a little bit more. It's really amazing what we can build in our nervous system. Yeah. Okay. All right. I hear you guys. Inhale, bring those arms up. Okay. So we're still working those arms. We're still working those shoulders. I'm going to show my screen. My arms are just straight up above. And ideally, again, another impossible thing, we're working to reach those arms behind the ears. Oh yeah. I mean, if you want to scream, it's like totally normal. You're just like, get me out of this. It's so hard. But we're just taking that deep inhalation, we're extending. And shoulders, we're getting deep in the shoulders right now. We're warming them up. Shoulders is actually where so much anger gets stored. So oftentimes when we do this work, we're stirring up and releasing. So that is actually very normal. Okay, 3 more breaths. Inhale to the top of your breath. Exhale. Inhale to the top of your breath. Exhale. Last one. Inhale to the top of your breath. Exhale. Woo! Bring those arms straight forward. You guys thought we were coming down. It was like a half hallelujah to like, oh my God, we're still going. Oh, you guys are gonna be so mad at me after this. Good work, good work, good work. Okay, so the scapulas, they're reaching from that outside edge of the scapula towards your fingertips. Okay, and then we're engaging that muscle to the bone, and we're extending through all 10 fingertips, reaching, extending. Good work, good work. And then those wrists are aligning. Yeah, wrists are aligned. Belly button to the spine, yeah. Laughing. Okay, and this is the last extension. So just exhale, reach those arms away from your face. Inhale. And exhale, come on down. We made it. We made it. Okay. Good work, you guys. Good work. Okay, so there was a purpose to that. Oh, hello. Karen is still going. Or maybe she's frozen. I think she's frozen. I was like, holy moly, Karen. Okay, so the purpose of that is we're getting into our neck, we're getting into our shoulders, we're warming that up. Yeah, we're creating that alignment. So does anybody feel like a little bit taller, a little bit more activated in the shoulders? Okay, good work, you guys. Good work, good work. Okay, so for this one, we're just gonna be simply sitting. So let's do all legs straight. And let's do all legs straight with Candida. So legs are straight. Whichever way is easier to see, this way or. And then again, we're pressing through those mounds of the big toes. Okay, and so here the tendency is to slouch a bit, right? Because it's hard to get this opening. So if we can find more props or more pillows or blankets, anything, even if we're boosting ourselves up a couple inches. Okay, good. Okay, great. Yeah, so now my pelvis is tilted, so I'm on the front of my sits bones instead of the back of them. And that's gonna translate up to a healthy spine. Good. And sometimes I remember I was like an athlete growing up and I'd always be so stiff. And this pose was so hard, and it still is hard for me. But sometimes just putting that pressure in your hands and getting that little bit of lift out of your bottom can help us get that action we're looking for. Good. So basically, we're looking for a strong toned spine here. So belly button is reaching towards your spine. We're getting this internal rotation of our thighs again. So outside of the thighs, reaching towards the inside of the thigh. Good. And we're getting nice and tall and long. So we're trying to create more space between every single vertebra. So just imagine getting a little bit more space. And then you're going to get way more out of this as you press through that mound of the big toe. Mounds of the big toes. Welcome back, Karen.
Thank you. Good to be back.
Karen, it was funny because your screen froze in the pose where your arms were still out. And I was like, Karen, you're still in there?
And I stayed in it until I was trying to get back in, but trying to be diligent.
Welcome back, welcome back. Way to make it through that. I know that one was hard.
Thank you. Oh yeah.
It's hard, but I promise it's worth it. The work that we're getting into those neck and shoulders.
I believe it.
Okay, so we're just doing legs straight. Most of us are up on a blanket or a prop or a pillow to get that height under our butt, which is going to help us get a long, strong, healthy spine. So we're working in subtle ways, but we're just trying to open that heart more. We're trying to stack all those vertebra, right? So deep breath, inhale through your nose. Engage through those mounds of the big toes. It will make the pose way more difficult. And we're just, working for that 90-degree angle. And we were talking about that internal rotation of the thighs, the front of the thighs reaching towards the back of the thighs. Good. Feeling that toning in through our hips and through our knees. So really go one for the knees. So when we get, I'm just going to demonstrate, you can stay in there. When we get to that 90-degree angle, that's when we start to get that toning through the legs and the spine. When I'm rounded, we're just training our spine to be weaker, essentially. So that's why it's so important. Here I'm on the backs of my sit bones. Here I'm on the front edges of my sit bones. And really that is so important because it translates to your spine. Okay, last couple breaths. I know we're feeling it. And it's also going to tone in through your core as you get into the inside edge of those two sit bones. Are anybody's legs longer from that first one we did with the straps? Go ahead and use your hands to bend your knees. Come on out. All right. Okay. So next one, a little bit more shoulders. So you can either sit in simple cross-legged or take your legs wide. Okay, great. And actually, we're just going to be here for a minute because that's plenty. So the more obtuse the angle, the wider the angle, the more we're going to get into those groins, into the hip, into the pelvis, into the knees. Another really good one for the knees. Yeah, and you guys can kind of stagger yourselves so you have enough room. Good. And so, let's see. Again, the tendency is for the thighs to get like an external rotation and the groins to rise up off the ground. So we're actually working to release and bring those groins to the ground and get that internal rotation. So just use your hands to sculpt your body like clay. Okay, good. So to support the knees, if it were me, I would work on this one every day and just see if I could keep getting that width. And so when you're ready, you just scoot a tiny bit more forward and it gets you like a millimeter wider. And you just want to take it to that line. You don't ever want sharp pain. But that aching, grueling that we've experienced so much, that's where we're getting that change, that necessary transformation. Again, we're trying to roll on the front of those sit bones. So sometimes we might need props, blankets, pillows under our butt to get that. Good work, good work, good work. Yeah. Loving it. And then just see if you can take that breath through your whole body. So imagine you're inhaling through your feet. And then you're bringing that breath all the way through your spine, and your spine's getting taller, longer. And then we're bringing that breath barreling out into our rib cage. Good. And then exhale. You can either stay in this pose and to come out rather than bending your legs, use your hands to do the work for you. Like imagine that you can't use your legs. So any comfortable seated position for these last couple minutes. Okay, so I want to work with the breath for a second. So imagine that your rib cage is like a barrel or a vase. And when we pour the water out of the vase doesn't lose its shape, right? So we're just going to do a couple of breaths, and we're going to work on inhaling through your nose and see if you can expand through your chest, your rib cage, on the front of your body, the sides of your rib cage, the back of your rib cage. So 360 degrees. So sitting nice and tall, heart open, collarbone spreading wide, heart lifting. Slowly bring that breath in through your nose. And just try and fill up new parts of your rib cage, new parts of your lungs. With that slow, smooth, steady breath. And when you get to the top of your breath, just pause. And when you exhale your air through your nose, see if you can keep that barrel, that vase, that widening, that opening that you just created in your lungs. See if you can keep that structure and let the air out. So go back to normal breathing, just normal inhalation and exhalation. And then we're going to try it again, okay? So inhaling to the top of your breath slowly through your nose. See if you can broaden, barrel out your chest, find new areas. Breathing into this armpit chest area. Creating more space, more expansion. It's subtle. And then when you exhale, keep that space, keep that barreled chest, and let the air out. And then go back to normal breathing. So you guys can practice that, but you do just do one breath at a time and then back to normal breathing, and then try for that expansion again. Yay. All right, you guys, we are at the end of class. Thank you so much for practicing. Appreciate practicing with everyone. And see if you can bring whatever it is that you gather from today's class and see if you can incorporate it. Like for me, my spine's feeling more strong, more open, my heart's feeling more open. So I'm gonna try and carry that throughout the rest of my day as much as I can. So whatever you gained, see if you can bring that throughout your day. It's a little bit of it.
Thank you, Rita. That was really amazing. Thank you. Hard, but amazing.
Hard. I know. Yeah, it's definitely not easy, but we can customize it for sure. Always. Great work, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you. That was great. Happy Friday, everyone.
Wow.
Happy Friday. Happy Friday. Yes. Awesome.
Wow.
Well, enjoy the rest of your day, and we'll see you guys Saturday. See you for Saturday's class. Sweet. Awesome.
We'll see.
All right. God bless everybody. Love you all.
Bye.
Happy Friday.
Love you all. Bye.
Niels and Nadine.
you.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, Niels, Nadine. Bye, Sister Karen. Bye,
Bye,
Rita.
everybody. Happy Friday.
Love you all.
Love you. Bye.
Yes, like Karen.
Bye. Here now. Thank
Bye.
you again.
Thank you.
Thank you, bye.
Bye.
Bye bye.